Welcome to Curious Kids Every Day. I'm Josh. How are you doing today? It's so good to hear from you. Now, we're going to be talking about walking today. But in order to do that, you're going to need some paper and a calculator. I know, it might not make sense yet, but I promise it's going to be fun. Today, we are going to figure out on paper and with a calculator how long it would take to walk across the United States. This is something my boys are always asking me about. I remember we did an episode where we talked about how long it would take to walk across the entire world, but now my boys are wondering, what about the United States? Well, let's figure it out together. I'll wait while you go get some paper and a pencil. Oh, and don't forget the calculator. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. The United States is a big country. If you wanted to walk from the East Coast to the West Coast, you'd be traveling more than 3,000 miles. So, how long would it take to walk 3,000 miles? Well, most people can walk about 3 miles per hour, which literally means in 1 hour, you go 3 miles. So let's say that you walk for 8 hours a day. How far would you travel per day doing that? 3 miles per hour, 8 hours in a day. Well, let's figure it out on paper. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to draw 3 lines. Each one of those lines represents 1 mile. Those 3 lines together show how far you travel in 1 hour. We're going to do that 8 times per day, right? So go ahead and draw 7 more sets of 3 lines. So 3 lines, and then 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 3 more lines. There we go. Okay, do you have 8 total sets of 3 lines? Count them real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Now, all you have to do is count every one of your lines. Go ahead and count them. I'll wait. Do you have 24 lines? Because that's the right answer. 24 miles. Hey, you might not have realized it, but you just did a multiplication problem. Did you realize that? You solved 3 times 8 to figure out how many miles you can walk in a day if you walk 3 miles per hour for 8 hours. 3 times 8. Okay, so we know that each day we'll be traveling 24 miles, but we need to go 3,000 miles. So if we added 24 to 24, that's 48. That's how many miles we would travel in 2 days. But we still have to get all the way to 3,000. How are we going to keep just adding 24 over and over? That's going to take a long time. There's actually an easier way to do this. We can use division. When we use division, we're asking, how many times does the number 24 fit into the number 3,000? It'd be kind of like if you had a small box and you were trying to decide how many of those small boxes could fit into a bigger box. Now, there's a way to do this on paper just like we did the multiplication, but it's a little complicated with big numbers, so let's just pull out the calculator for now. Have you ever tried to do division on a calculator before? It's okay if you haven't, I'll explain it. you start with the big number, 3,000. So go ahead and type that in, 3000. Then look for the division symbol. It's a dot with a line underneath it, and then another dot underneath that. Do you see it? Okay, great. Hit that button. Now, we type the number that we want to find out how many times it fits into the bigger number. So, type 24. Then, hit the equal sign. That's the button with two lines on top of each other. Well, what number did you get? If you typed it all just right, the number on the display should be 125. 3,000 divided by 24 equals 125. And since 24 is the number of miles we can go in a day, we now know how long it would take to go the full 3,000 miles. The number 24 goes into the number 3,000 125 times. So that means if we added 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24 over and over again 125 times, we would get to the number 3,000. So there we go. We used multiplication and division to solve a really confusing problem. And now we know that it would take 125 days to walk across the United States. Great job! All right, let's have a quick quiz. How many miles is it from coast to coast in the United States? It's around 3,000 miles. And how many miles can a person walk in 1 hour on average? About 3 miles, so they're moving at a speed of 3 miles per hour. How long might it take to walk across the United States if you walked 3 miles per hour for 8 hours every day? It'd take 125 days. True or false? The division sign is a dot with a line underneath, and then another dot underneath that. That is true. True or false? If you walked 2 miles per hour, you would go 4 miles in 1 hour. That is false. True or false? If you walked 3 miles per hour for 2 hours, you would go 6 miles. That is true. Go 3 miles in 1 hour, and if you do that for 2 hours, 3 plus 3 is 6, so 6 miles. Would you rather ride a bike across the country or ride a horse across the country? All right, well, realistically, probably a bike because I'm more comfortable on a bike than on a horse. But what better way to get comfortable on a horse than by riding across the country on one? So maybe I'll go with the horse. Okay, here's a new game. It's called Which State is Bigger? I'm going to name 2 states in the United States, and you shout out which one is bigger. Are you ready? Texas or Rhode Island? That would be Texas. What about California or Alaska? Ooh, that's a tough one. It's actually Alaska. Alaska's bigger than California. What about Florida or New York? It's Florida. That's the state I was born in. What about Montana or Hawaii? The answer is Montana. Now we know that walking across the United States would take 125 days of steady walking. Do you think that you could walk for 8 hours a day for 125 days straight? I think I'd need to take a few days off at least. But now we know how to do the math to figure it all out. What kind of question do you think we'll ask tomorrow on Curious Kids Every Day? I can't wait to find out. So until then, keep asking questions and stay curious, kids. And for all the grown-ups listening, please visit CuriousKidsEveryday.com to get a free printable with activity ideas that don't involve screens. Those are the best kinds of adventures to have. That's CuriousKidsEveryday.com. See you tomorrow.